What up, y'all? Appreciate you showing up, hanging out, listening to my dumb ass. Like and subscribe. So, the news that Game Pass has gone up on price is a thing that happened. Now, as console warriors do, you got the blue side who's going to doom and gloom it all to hell. And then you have the green side that's going to justify it. And then there's me. I'm on the green side, yes. But I don't look at things in a fanboy view. I look at it in a logical view. These are businesses, you have different aspects of business, whether it's customer relations, how the customers perceive you, what the company is doing to bolster customer relations or bolster customer perceptions, all these different things, mainly about customer relations versus corporate, you could say greed or ambitions. So, a lot of things, I listened to Sean's, he had a live podcast today, and, I was listening to him, and he was just kind of going on about how, the hypocrisy, same thing, hypocrisy of the ponies and the donkey unicorns, where PlayStation raised their prices of PlayStation Plus 35%. Nobody said nothing, but when it's $2 extra for Game Pass, oh my gosh, the world is, I'm done with Microsoft. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, okay, and he did that for a while, but then he got to the part where I wanted to kind of touch on and what I was saying before he actually got to it, which was, there's two things. It's three things actually. One, nobody likes to pay more for stuff, right? So whatever I say, always have that in the back of your mind, in my mind, and everybody's mind, that I would have preferred not to have a price increase, right? That being said, $2 extra, okay, sure. It's only $2, whatever, It's not like, from $70 to $100 or $70 to $150, if you know what I'm saying. If you know, then you know. So that's the first thing. Nobody wants the prices to go up. You can say, the market, the way the market's going, blah, blah, blah. And that's what somebody said. They said, the market environment or whatever they said, that's why we raise prices and then give you nothing, basically. I mean, at least Microsoft has laid out a roadmap and said, look at all these juicy games. Oh yeah, you're going to pay some more. And you're like, damn, I hate the fact that you're making me pay more, but I want to play that. 17 of that. Okay, 16, that mouse game. I'm probably going to play it. I don't want to play it, but I'm going to play it because I'm curious now. Anyway, so my second point is that Sean, yes, he mentioned it, but I don't see anybody else kind of mentioning it. They're just kind of doing the headlines and the doom and gloom and, all these freaking, I don't want to call everybody a grifter, but they're leaning into the negative aspect of Microsoft. For Microsoft. Oh no. And I'm like, okay. I mean, that's fine because you got to feed your babies and pay your bills, and that's fine. But, here's the reality. Sony's, I believe it's for the premium, is $18, $17.99 a month for their premium. I believe it's for the premium. Better be for the premium. And so, the Game Pass, the new Game Pass Ultimate, which is the highest tier, is, what is it? You know what it is? $20. It's $2 more, right? Now, you look at what Sony's offering is at $18, and you look at Microsoft's offering at $20. Which one's a better deal? Given the price difference, which one's a better deal? The obvious answer, Game Pass Ultimate is a better deal, obviously, because you get those day one games, and you get cloud, and you get all that stuff, right? And I'm like, I don't see that messaging happening. And that's exactly why Microsoft did it. Not because of the messaging isn't there. But because Sony raised their prices with no added value, no perceived added value, they just did it because they knew the ponies and the donkey unicorns will bend over and take it dry. Okay? Sorry to say it that way, but no diddy. And Microsoft, on the other hand, said, you know what? We got Call of Duty. We got Fable coming up. We got all these games. We could raise $2. What's that? That's not even a coffee. Coffees cost more than $2 now. So I'm like, I'm like, that's nothing. Okay, let's go. $20, let's go. And plus, you can go and bank your, stack them. I think up to 3 years maybe. So you can get a deal. You can do like $180 for a year when it's going to be like twice that much. Not twice as much. It's going to be a little bit less than twice that much when the new prices come into effect. So if you want to like stack a year and save like almost half, do it now. I looked at I was like, 3 years is like $540. I'm like, man, I'm not gonna spend $540 on. I mean, I could, but I'm like, I'll do 180, just because that's like nothing. But anyway, that's there, right? The competition aspect is why Microsoft said, okay, they did it. They raised prices and gave their customers nothing to add value. We're doing it, and we're giving mad value, right? And they're looking at the marketplace, like all of these freaking grifters and all of these people, all these personalities, influencers, whatever you want to call them, out there talking about this are only talking about it in a doom and gloom sense. They're not putting it in the way of comparing it or putting it as a competition, as the industry. Like you're saying, okay, what's the market? Who's the market leader, right? But who's the market leader in subscription services? And they're not looking at the whole picture. They're just trying to paint their narrative in order to placate. Once again, it's like the Colin Moriarty syndrome. I should start calling it that. But that's number 2. Number 3 is people I haven't seen. Well, Sean did it. Nobody else I haven't seen, but actually I haven't watched any videos either, but whatever. The math. You have to look at the math. So what Phil Spencer said, I guess Matt Booty said it too, that their plan was to release a AAA banger, first party, AAA banger once a quarter. That's 4 AAA bangers a year, right? Let's imagine that those 4 AAA bangers were $70 each. 70, 140, some 280, right? I can't do it. 210, 280, right? Is it not a coincidence that the new price for Game Pass Ultimate for 1 year is exactly $280? I don't think that's a coincidence. I think someone did the math and said, well, if we keep somebody for a year, it pays for the AAA bangers that we're releasing within Game Pass. So think about it this way. If they keep the subscriptions, if they keep the subs throughout a year, right? And they're staying because of the AAA bangers, the 4 a year, basically, the day one games. Then it doesn't matter if they buy it or they keep subbed, because it's all the same money at the end to Microsoft. They're still going to get their $280 for that one person that subbed for the year, as opposed to, maybe that person might buy 2 out of 4 games, so they wouldn't even make 280. They would make 140 or something like that. You know what I mean? So when you think about it that way, it's like, oh, okay. And then you think about it, that's the corporate side, right? And then you think about it on the consumer side, it's like, yeah, I want to play all those games. Yeah, I mean, I'm not like, but then there's other little games that I want to play, and so it's like a win-win on both sides. Yes, they raise the prices, but it's still a good enough deal that the consumers don't feel like, oh, it's a bad deal. You know what I mean? And it's not about being a fanboy or anything. If you do the math and you say, well, I'm gonna play 4 games a year. I mean, look, if you're not playing 4 games a year, then you're not really a gamer, right? And that's the thing. It's like what's happening, like the increase in the price kind of pushes gamers to be like, okay, now I want to get my money's worth. So, and that's what happens when I first subbed to Game Pass. I did the math. I said, okay, it's $180. I need to play 3 games or whatever, 3 games a year in order to get my money's worth, right? And then, I start adding up the little ones, but I was like mainly the big ones like Forza Horizon, Halo, blah, 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 right? And so it always worked out because I'm like, I'm always going to be playing AAA bangers, whatever Microsoft puts out. And then, extra stuff, a lot of indie games, some third-party stuff, third-party AAA bangers, all that stuff. And so it economically, as a gamer, it works out. I am spending less playing games on Game Pass than I would if I was just straight up buying all these games. And I'm playing more games, which is always a benefit. So that third point is that if you look at it from an Xbox corporate side, they're getting the money for subs, which equate to the sales. And then you look at it from the consumer side, it's worth it if you're going to play those games. And Sean said, look, if you're broke or you don't want to pay $280 a year, or if you and there's a game you want to play, Indiana Jones comes out, you sub for a month, you play the game, you unsub. It's $20. That's it. You can do that once a year. You do it at 4 times a year. It's still cheaper than subbing for the whole year, right? So you do $20, $80. You can play all the 4 bangers, the 4 AAA bangers, and unsub every time, and you're good to go. And the option is there to do that. It's not like, oh, you're cheating Microsoft and then I get all that. No, it's just whatever. It's easy. And I'm like, I agree with that. If that's how you want to do it, you want to be a frugal gamer like that, go right ahead. But, all this doom and gloom. And I know the one thing that people keep harping on is like, oh, the subscribing tiers are all confusing now, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, it's not confusing. It's different. Okay, so the highest tier sub is the sub where you get the day one games, basically, right? Wait, I don't know if PC Game Pass gets it either. But I know there's standard and there's PC and then there's ultimate. So actually, I'm not sure about ultimate. And once again, it's not confusing. I just didn't read into it, that's all. But as I understand it, ultimate is the one where you get the day one games. And that would make the most sense. And then PC, you just get the catalog. And then console, which is Xbox Game Pass standard, you just get the catalog of games. You don't get day one. That's it. Yeah, I think you still get the discounts. And I don't think you get the streaming on that. I think you only get that in Ultimate. But it's not that difficult to understand. And also the way it's set up is to try to promote the better deal, which is Ultimate. Basically, it's like, and people are like, oh, I don't know why people would sign up for the $14.99, $15 one. It's only $3 more, or no, it's like $5 more. And you get all the games, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, I mean, it's done that way to A, when you get choice, and B, if people want to spend an extra couple bucks to get the day one games, once the games keep coming in, once that cadence is up, is it worth extra $5 a month? And most people are like, yeah, because games are freaking expensive. This is an expensive hobby. That's what people say, and it is. And so anything to alleviate that financial stress is good. Like back in the day, we didn't buy all the games that came out. We were broke little high school kids, right? So you go to Funkoland, or we had a spot. It was in a comic shop. They had a little corner in the comic shop, and he sold video games. He got all the imports and stuff, and we rented games from him. It was like, I don't know, a couple bucks for a couple of days. $4 or $5 for like 3 days or something. That's what I did. I think I rented. I'm trying to remember. I think it was the Japanese version of Super Outrun for the Genesis. Turbo Outrun, excuse me, for the Genesis. I think I rented that, and I was so disappointed because at that time they didn't have the software scaling down. Now they, Later they did, but at that point it was like, no. I was so upset. But now I have all those games through emulation and stuff, and it's pretty dope. But it's. I mean, I am tired of the negative Xbox rhetoric, because I saw Spawn Wave, and his title is kind of clickbaity and kind of negative, and he started off, it's some bad news for Microsoft. I'm like, I mean, it's only bad if you posit it in a negative light. But if you look at it logically, if you want video games to survive, guess what? People work at Microsoft. People work at Xbox. People need to get paid, as opposed to closing down studios and firing people. Because if they don't make enough money, then that's what happens. They close down studios, they fire people, they lay people off. And I mean, I know there's been a bunch of layoffs, but that's because of COVID, and they, the hiring, they overhire, everyone overhired. And so that, that's a ripple effect. But, if you're going to cry about $2, then you should have cried about $70. Then you should have cried about the 35% increase, but you didn't cry. So if you didn't cry then, you shouldn't cry now. Especially if you're a pony and donkey unicorn, you shouldn't be crying over Xbox stuff. You should be crying over PlayStation stuff. There ain't no PlayStation stuff, because PlayStation got no games. Let me know in the comments below what y'all think about Xbox Gamepass going up, about people not talking about the actual minutia and the logistics of why and how this is happening, and the exaggerated kind of rhetoric around it. Let me know, and I appreciate y'all once again, and I'll catch y'all on the next one too. Wait.